Hey, what's going on? It is live at 4:45 plus or minus a few hours. It's not live at 4:45 right now. Sue me. It was 8 degrees today, and I got home and I had an amazing lunch and I had an amazingly warm fire and I took an amazingly long nap. And it felt amazingly good. So you know what? I just woke up. You can tell by these tired eyes that it was one good nap. Oh, hope you guys are doing good. It is Saturday. And if you were tuned in yesterday, we were talking a little bit about war and about the effects of war and about the struggles with war and some of the negative attributes that come out of war. And today, I wanted to share a story, one of my favorite stories about war, and it's not about some great conqueror, it's not about some great conquest, it's not about, Troy or any of those famous battles. It's about two men, two enemies, two individuals who were willing to look beyond their individual countries' conflict and rise above that conflict. And so often in life we get so tunnel visioned about what is right and what is wrong and who is in the right and who is in the wrong that sometimes we forget about that the guy or the lady or the individual across that line is a human being who lives, breathes, cares, loves, has emotions, has feelings, has a family, has a mom and dad. They are actually just like you and me. And this story hopefully will portray that a little bit better. Hi, kids, whoever is on mom's phone right now. But, all right, so here we go. Saddle up, listen up, buckle up. The story of the day is this one. World War II. The years were cranking down, the battles were cranking up, and the American forces were in full swing. B-17 bombers were on daily bombing raids into Germany. And on this specific bombing raid, they were bombing the city of Bremen. And it had been a successful raid, it had been a successful bombing mission, and the B-17s were on their return flight. However, there was one particular B-17 that had been massively injured, that had been massively shot up, that was in massive distress. Out of a crew of 10, they had lost one life. There was others that were wounded, extremely wounded, and the plane was not flying, and it didn't look like probably it was going to make it. It was flying low to the ground. It was flying low to where it was susceptible to anti-aircraft, to being shot down. And just about that time, the pilot of this B-17, Charlie Brown, saw out of the corner of his eye a German fighter swooping down like an eagle coming in for the kill. And he knew in the back of his mind that he knew that his time was up. He knew that this fighter pilot could pick him off so easily. And, later events say that he just said a prayer and said that he knew this was it. And the fighter plane came zooming down, and there he was, Franz Stigler, one of the top German fighter pilots, swooping down to make a kill on a bomber, mind you, that had just dropped bombs on his country, on his city. Now, if that was you, you would probably have a little bit of animosity. And yet, as this German fighter pilot swooped down and came fairly close to this B-17, he saw the pain. He saw the struggle. He saw the humanity within that aircraft. He just didn't look at it as an airplane. He just didn't look at it as a killing machine. He saw the people within it. And he saw the fear. And he saw the hopelessness. and he was ordered to shoot down that B-17. And Franz Stigler was on the verge of becoming one of the top decorated fighter pilots in the German Air Force. This kill would put him on a pedestal as one of the greatest. And yet in this moment, where he had every right and every opportunity to shoot down this enemy aircraft, he did something very different. He actually pulled in closer to this B-17 until he was right beside this wounded and ailing B-17 bomber. And he motioned to the pilot. He motioned to that American pilot, Charlie Brown, to follow his lead. Now, I don't know about you, but I would be in shock and awe if I was that B-17 pilot looking over at the whites of the eyes of a German fighter pilot and the German fighter pilot motioning me to follow you. You know, I'd be a little... but you know what? Charlie Brown didn't have any other options. And so, wing to wing, that B-17 flew beside that German fighter pilot across enemy territory, where there were guns on the ground that could have shot down that B-17, but none of those ground troops wanted to shoot down by accident one of their prized fighter pilots, and so no one fired a shot, no one pulled the trigger. And that B-17 that should have been shot down, the men within that B-17 that should have been killed, were led by the enemy. Were led by a German pilot across the Black Sea, out of enemy danger, and safely back to their home base. Powerful illustration of what happens when people look beyond individual goals, look beyond the hate and the animosity that war so often brings, and sees the reality that those people are your people. They are you. And we all are in this struggle together. And the cool part about that story is those two men found each other after the war, and they became lifelong friends. Yes, in this world there is struggle. Yes, in this world we do have enemies, but yes, more than that, we have an amazing opportunity to rise above that petty hate and create something more powerful than any war or any battle or any struggle will ever have, when we create and share the bond of love, the bond of friendship, and the bond of forgiveness. May that be what we search for. May that be what we hope for. May that be what we strive for each and every day. Wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, love it, live it, make it count. And we'll talk to you tomorrow.